Alright, so you want to play Vi. Well, I'm going to teach you how to play Vi. If you don't know who I am BloodShiv from Team GGSL, and I am one of the biggest Vi mains. I have over 205,000 points on her. I believe it's 206k now. Huge Vi main. I'm going to teach you a very crash course on how to play Vi. Very simple. Let's get started. Alright, Vi is a very simple champion to understand. If you can understand how to play Vi, you can pretty much understand to play pretty much any of the very simple jungle champs I know. Her passive, very simple to understand. All you need to know is you get a shield every time you land an ability. It's very nice for jungling, and you know what? It's fantastic. I think it's one of the best jungling passives in game. Her Q, Volt Breaker, fantastic. It's a Q that's like Sejuani's, but the difference is you have to charge it up. Fantastic, and also procs your W. Your W, I call it Snap, Crackle, and Pop. After 3 basic attacks, 3 attacks either from spells or abilities, or basic attacks, but it has to be from Vi, you get increased damage, and you reduce the percentage of their total armor. It's great. She's a tank that tank shreds, and does crap loads of damage. Fantastic champ when it comes to that. E. Her E, Excessive Force, is pretty much your own 2-shot built-in Titanic Hydra. It is beautiful. And when you get that perfect Snap, Crackle, Pop Thunderlords with your E proc, you can just watch people melt. It is fantastic. So one of the first things I like to do when I'm starting out as Vi, I like to get my Hunter's Machete for the lifesteal, and then I like to get 3 health pots. I always go with my master, I always go Thunderlords. People always say, oh no, you want to go Colossus, you want to build Vi tanky. No, scratch that. You don't want tank Vi. No one wants tank Vi. You want hybrid damage, BS tank shred Vi. That's what you want. Know why you want that? Because in this new meta for tanks, you want to do as much damage and take as much damage as possible. You build her hybrid. So the first thing you want to do, get that Hunter's Machete, get that fat lifesteal. If you're starting on the blue side, you want to go with your bot lane, you want to go blue, wolves, red. Look for a gank mid lane or top lane. You don't see a gank mid or top lane, then you want to go for raptors. After that, if you do see a gank, like when you saw that first blood, go for it. If you can take it, go for it. Every time. I don't care who you are. Every time. You want to get for that solid, good gank. So now that you want to know, let's go take Skarner's passive. Passive little gems. Right now, I'm looking for a gank top lane. Let's see if I see one. I'm walking. Oh, there's the Karma. Here's the Q. Volt Breaker. Nope. Walk away. That's another thing with Vi. If you can't land her Q, walk away. It's not worth staying in the lane. And that's one of the biggest tips I can give bronze junglers. If the gank's not there, do not wait for it. When jungling, it's always about how you have to keep up with your laners. You don't want to get out farmed. So what you want to do is if you see the gank, take it. If you don't see the gank, just walk away. It's not worth staying there to wait for one. Just walk away. One of the big things, especially if I see it with my laners, like if I'm coming down bot lane, top, or mid, and I'm playing with my solo duo partner, or if I'm playing with a team, I'll say, hey, act like you're getting your butts kicked, but don't actually get your butts kicked. The reason why I say this is because it allows them to be pushed back a little bit so they can get past the river entrance, and then boom, you're queuing right into them. It's almost instant death every time. Right here, this is called jungle invading, and basically what I was doing is I was trying to catch Skarner off guard, see if I can steal one of his camps. Couldn't get anything, but I damaged him a little bit just to scare him. And that's when I just walked away, because I was scared that Lux was going to come up or Karma was going to come down and get me. So I just walked away and went back to jungling. One of the first things I always see bronze junglers do when I'm playing ADC or any other position on the map when I play ranked, is I always see them never build their jungling item. One of the first things you want to rush on Vi and any jungler is you want to rush out your you either want to rush out your Tracker's Blade, Chilling Smite, Challenging Smite, and your boots. With Vi, I always like to get at minimum my Chilling Smite and my Moby Boots on my first back. And it's essentially like going for your first back with an ADC. You always want to go back and get your BF sword first. Like, that is the optimal, like, best back you can have, is getting your BF sword and then some. With junglers, it's always getting the first part of your jungling item, which is either the Tracker's Blade, Challenging Smite, which is red, or the blue Chilling Smite. I always like using Moby Boots, I like getting Moby Boots fast and early, just for the sheer fact that it allows me to set up ganks easier, and I'm able to move around a lot faster. The downside to Moby Boots, though, is, again, if you take any damage from any source, or you do damage to any source, you have to wait a whole 5 seconds for it to proc again. So you have to be sure that you can either catch up or you're going to have team help. And that's really the one downside. But other than that, Love the boots, fantastic. I use it every game. Solid boots, you can get around very fast. The chilling smite's nice because I can, if they're just that much faster than me, I can slow them down, or if I need just that little oomph of damage to kill them, smite them. Love it. Another high elo strat that people like to do, especially in the LCS, and you'll see it a lot with Lee Sin, is Tracker's Blade, or the green blade. And basically what I was doing now is why you would use Tracker's Blade is when you're invading the enemy jungle, you drop wards so that you drop them at, typically you like to drop them at red and blue buffs. You also want to ward drag and Baron pits when you can, or especially if you think they're going for it. And the reason why you drop them at these places is so you can see where their enemy jungler is and where their team's setting up. If you drop it in their blue buff and you see that their enemy jungler is by their blue buff, that means you can go steal their red buff, and vice versa. Or if you have it at their red buff and they pass the red buff and they're going towards bot lane, you can say, hey, there's a gank incoming, and you can go counter gank them and probably pick up a triple kill. It's just a high elo strat that I don't see bronze players doing enough, and I understand why they don't do it, but you guys need to get more comfortable doing it. The more you actually practice counter ganking, the better. Yes, you're gonna feed sometimes. I remember when I first started playing jungle, I fed my butt off. There wasn't a time I didn't feed my butt off until I got good. But now that I'm actually pretty decent, I can very easily, even with pretty low health, go into an enemy jungle, know what I'm doing, mirror the enemy jungler, do what I need to do, get in, get out. As you can see right now, I have my chilling smite with my Moby boots and a longsword. Basically, what that longsword setting up for, it's setting up for a Triforce. One of the big major items you want to get on Vi, and I like building on her if you can, and especially if you're ahead of the enemy jungler and you're ahead of pretty much everybody, is rush your Triforce. The reason why you rush Triforce is because every time you cast a spell or ability, the next auto attack does extra damage. And Vi's an auto attack champion. Like, that is your bread and butter, is your auto attack. So more AD you have, the more damage you do. Fantastic. A lot of items, you don't build crit items on Vi at all. The reason being is because you just don't need it, and it's just a waste of an item space. There's better items to build. If you are really ahead, like at this point, like there's at one point I go 6-0, rush Triforce, get your warrior enchantment first, then rush your Triforce in your Titanic Hydra, stuff like that. If you're breaking even or slightly ahead, you're going to want to build your Titanic first. That way you can farm faster. The Titanic Hydra will give you the health, the AD, and will give you a faster clear speed. If you watch this gank right here, I pinged that I was going in. I ulted, slammed her, and that's what Ezreal ulted by accident. That was a good clean gank. I used that because Ezreal was running low on mana, and she still had pretty much full mana. One of the best ganks you can do with Vi is like what I just did with that mid lane Lux, is actually come from behind, and then you can actually queue them into your tower. I have had plenty of games where I have actually ulted them under my tower, queued them under tower again, like queued them up under tower, push them further under the tower, and the tower starts attacking them because they auto attacked me. It's just a free damage they can give off, and it's a little bit more of a, when you get a little bit more comfortable Vi, you'll be able to do a little bit more combos. Oh, here's the other one. Vi's Q, since it's a displacement, ults like MF's ult will actually be disrupted, like you just saw. Because of my Q and I disrupted it, I was able to save my laners from dying. I was able to save the rocket from dying. If you watch this, the E. That was the E. The E essentially is your Triforce. You only get 2 procs of it. It's a fantastic little item. Love it. It's great. The E is perfect. Now, since I'm rushing a Triforce here, I didn't go back for about 2k gold, but I got my daggers first. The reasons why I went with my daggers for anything is just because I wanted that little extra attack speed. Right here, we just took first tower. You can actually use your E on first tower. It's the reason, the reason why I get the daggers is because that little extra attack speed. But if you can build the phage first, build the phage. This part's really good right here. I had no health. She heals me. I Q into the bush. I'm waiting for my Q to come off cooldown. You can also use your Q to escape. And this is beautiful. This is like one of the best things I could have done as Vi. I dodged the Q, signed up the Volt Breaker, Q her, auto attack, E her, drop her, and Caitlyn came in with a Q. I stunned her just long enough so Caitlyn can wind up her Q and launch it, and it gave me enough thing. The one thing about Vi that's so nice about building with the Thunderlord's Mastery is that she does so much damage. She is so tanky and so hybrid build just from building Triforce, Titanic Hydra, optional Black Cleaver depending on their team, and she's just a fantastic hybrid champ. Again, the reason why you don't want to build her tank is just Just why? You just don't need it. It's just tanky enough. You just that extra damage, and it's just so satisfying when you go Q, auto, E Thunderlords. Oh, best feeling in the world. Once you get that combo down, you get really good at that combo, you'll be God. I think this game I got an S- because my farm was a little lacking. But that's the thing. If you're gank, you gotta... One of the other things I see what happens with bronze junglers is that I've noticed that what they need to work on, and it's even something I need to work on, is when to gank and when to farm. How do you know when to gank? How do you know when to farm? Well, like I was saying earlier, if the gank's not there, don't go for it. Do not waste time looking for ganks. If you can farm, farm. Now, if the gank's there, and it's a good, like, you're not going to give up a kill, the gank, do it. Now, if it's a risky gank, and you may or may not, it's up to you. Me personally, I have to have a little risk, because in this game, a little risk goes a long way. I like to do high payout risks. High risk, high reward. Like that Karma gank, that was nothing. That was not risky. This was risky. Coming back in for a Q with this Nasus, she could have killed me. That's the second time she could have killed me, but she couldn't just quite get the damage off because I was just that much faster, had that much more kills. At this point, I'm 4-0-3, and I'm sitting on a pretty good high. As you can see my face, I'm getting kind of bored because this is typically what happens when I play Vi. Especially with good teammates, I don't really have to worry about if I'm going to get counter junglered. I don't have to worry about if they're going to show up. I don't have to worry about if they're going to help me. It's when they help me. And that's really the big thing with Vi, is she's really good. A lot of people don't like to say she's good with team comps, but I think she's fantastic with team comps. I absolutely love playing with any team comp. She's just a solid solo queue champion. If you're playing bronze and you want a good tank you could solo queue with, and you can take a little bit of a punishment but deal a lot more, play Vi. Another champion I like playing that's kind of like Vi, and I build him kind of the same way, is Xin Zhao. He's the other Mastery 7 jungler. He's the other one. Fantastic jungler, the same thing. Build him Triforce tank Thunderlords. There you go. A lot of people like taking him with Fervor. You can. It works. But I like Thunderlords. When in doubt, Thunderlord's your champion. As you can see, right, as we just did, we just took the Rift. Typically, I like taking Rift solo, so that way it doesn't draw any attention. But Nasus already backed, and he was coming into the Rift to help me, so that way we can have a secure it. And so what I did is I took the Rift, and this is where me and Ezreal actually cleared out the minions. I dropped the Rift, we killed the first tower, got Skarner, got the second tower. The reason why this worked is because me and Ezreal we weren't Skyped or anything or Discorded. It just happened to work because me and Ezreal were just playing really hard off each other, and it was really good. Some games you'll get those guys where you're just like, oh yeah, God, I love this team. This team is so good. And then you get those games that everybody loves, the classic bronze games like GG, surrender in 15, GG this team, oh my God, blah blah blah. Noob jungler doesn't know how to gank. But for whatever reason, me and this team just clicked really hard, and it was just a solid, good team. This team had very good fundamentals. We get the second tower, and this is where Ezreal ulted. As you can see how much damage you do with that Thunderlords. Chasing Ezreal. Boom. There's your E excessive force. As you can see, my E actually didn't even go off. It was still on my gauntlets, and actually the timer ran down. So at this point, I'm building the Triforce, and you can actually see when you get the Triforce Thunderlords proc with your W, your Snap, Crackle, and Pop. One of the most satisfying things you'll ever see. You just see this giant lightning bolt come from the sky, and it goes from full to half health in one combo. And if you have a cognizant ADC or a cognizant team that actually knows what they're doing, or even has any thought in their heads, it's guaranteed kill every time. Recently, Vi got a huge buff. That doesn't sound like a huge buff, but it is a huge buff. Her ult started at 150 seconds. It's now down to 130. So now you get early ganks now at level 6, you can get that early gank and keep going and going and going. It's a fantastic ganking tool. I always like to Q in first and use my ult as a cleanup. And then if my ult doesn't kill him, I like to E by using my E to get that Titanic Hydra. The built-in Titanic Hydra rock. But Vi is just one of those champions. And also, like I said, you could solo Rift Herald, you could solo any dragon. If you have the right item build, especially if you build a Titanic Hydra first, you can solo dragon. All you have to do is Q, and then auto attack, and then E, then auto E again. I typically solo drags if I know I'm beating the other enemy jungler, and my laners are keeping the other laners busy. If my laners are not keeping the other laners busy, I'll war drag it and wait for the enemy to try to take it. And then I'll either loop around. If I'm blue side, if my blue's on bot side, I'll either go straight in and smite it and steal it like I typically do. Or if I'm playing on if my bot's on the red side, then what I like to do is I like to Q, drop a ward, Q over the wall and take it. It just depends whatever's first, whatever's easiest. Again, it's whatever. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. It's okay to give up a drag. Don't give up kills. When you give up kills, you start snowballing other laners. Yeah, I understand it's a drag, and you really want the drag, and you want to be I want to be an LCS player. I want to pull off the big plays. I want to be that guy. I want to be commended. You know what? If it's not there, and you can't get it, don't go for it. And that's another thing. A lot of things I've noticed with people is you have to know your champion. You have to know the power spikes. Another reason why I'm really so good with Vi, and even after weeks of not playing her, even if days playing her, and I can still go back to her and play her and play her and play her, is because I know her power spikes. I know what she can and can't do, and it's just, it's just a basic, understanding your champion. And that's really the one thing that I noticed in Bronze, is a lot of them don't know their champion yet. They're like, oh, this champ's really cool. I want to play this champ. This champ is badass. Look at these abilities. Like, my friend used to do this. One of my buddies used to do this all the time. He's like, oh, have you seen, Mordekaiser? He's so cool. Look what you can do. Oh, look, TF, he's fucking awesome. Look at this. I can do this and this. I can W with cards and blah, blah, blah. See, the problem with that is when you don't stick with one champion and truly understand that champion and truly get to know that champion, you're never going to know how to build them in what situations. You're never going to know the power spikes. You're never going to know truly how to play that champion. When you play one champion for a decently long time, as long as I've played Vi, you start to realize that power spikes, you know what you can and can't do, and you start to realize what you need to do to win. And you can set basic goals, and a lot of things I like to do when I play these games is I like to set the goals to myself, like, okay, I know I'm going against this jungler, like if I go against a Jax or a Rammus, I know, can't fight Rammus in jungle, can't really counter gank him, because once he procs his W, gets that Thornmail, I'm screwed, because his Thornmail procs really easily off me. I know what I need to do. Oh, I'm fighting Skarner. Okay, I can start counter jungling him. I know a little bit of his power spikes. At level 5, he gets a little bit of a buff. Okay, now I know what I need to do. If I know that my bot lane's getting their butts kicked and they're always pushed back to their tower, that's just easier for me to gank and get kills and get them kills and start snowballing them, which is fine. It's okay if they're getting their butts kicked. Always help that lane. If it's early enough and you can help them from getting snowballed on, always help that lane. This game, it happened to be that no one was getting snowballed on, so I kind of had a stretch where I had to go. But typically, you'll get that one laner that's having that off game, and you need to help them. Every time when I play Twitch ADC, Twitch doesn't win lane at all. Unless you get really good positioning and you can outplay them, Twitch doesn't get kills and Twitch doesn't win unless the jungler comes in. So one of the main things I like to do is one of the first kills I like to give is to my ADC so I can start snowballing. Because once an ADC starts to snowball, like Twitch, Caitlyn, Jinx, it goes out of control very fast. They just ramp up really fast. So ganking bot lane early is nice, giving laners, that sense of security, like, wow, I have a jungler that's actually willing to help me. Wow, this is great. Man, I have confidence. I know I can take this dude because, my jungler is going to be there. He's going to help. And that's the one thing is when you play jungler, it's kind of hard to explain this, but when you play jungle, yeah, it's nice to be fed and be that 9-2 and 6 vibe where you're like, oh yeah, I'm baller. I can do whatever I want. But really, the big thing you want to do when you become a jungler is you don't want to be fed. Because it's like playing chess. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're fed. You're one person. If they shut you down, that's only one win condition. When you're playing jungle, try to think of getting your laners fed. You want the most assists. You actually want to have a pissing contest with the support with the most assists. Yeah, again, it's nice being fed. Don't kid yourself. I love playing Vi. 9-2 Vi, 11-2 Vi, 20-0 Vi, I've done it all. It's a fantastic feeling. Absolutely love it. There's no better feeling. But if you get shut down, your whole team's screwed. But if you can feed your ADC, your mid laner, and your top laner, now they gotta kill 3 carries. I mean, think about it. What's smarter? what's a little bit easier to win? With 3 carries or just 1 carry? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? But the problem is trying to get those assists. So what I like to do is I like to gank and throw them under our tower and let them do the rest of the work. If they can't get the kill, then I take it. But if they do get the kill, I'm okay with it. Actually, a lot of times if you hear me stream, because I stream every day, I'll be uploading videos on how to play certain champions in certain positions. But when you hear me stream, you'll be like, "Oh man, I didn't get the kill, but God bless my ADC. I got the assist from my ADC. Like, I just get so energized, and it's just so nice to get that fat assist, Gold." One of the other positions I started maining that a lot of people underappreciate is support. And I'll make a whole other video for support and ADC on all them. But basically, I get no bigger thrill when I feed someone kills and they just start snowballing like crazy. Actually, on our GGSL team, one of our huge win conditions, like if they have for TSM, it's like if they feed their mid laner, Bjergsen, or if they feed their top laner, Hanser and them, that's one of their win conditions, that they win off the mid lane. Well, for Team GGSL, our win condition is if I get fed with Vi. I don't necessarily like that win condition, and don't get me wrong, it's nice to be, it's nice to be powerful, and you can see that they surrendered here. But one of my favorite things to do is if I can get my top laner fed, I get a beefy top laner fed that just loads of damage, I'm gonna do it. Hands down, I'm gonna do it. It is gonna be fantastic when I do it. Well, this has been Team GGSL, BloodShiv, the jungle main, support and ADC main. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I will be streaming every day. My Twitch is www.twitch.tv/GGSL_BloodShiv. And I'll have this video posted on Wednesday afternoon. First YouTube video up on the channel. Proud of that. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Every Friday afternoons, we actually do free champ, skin, or RP giveaways. Whatever you guys want to do. The more subs I get, the more donations I get, the more we can keep doing this for people. It'll just be a fun time for everybody. As you can see, my farm's a little lacking at 98, but I went 11, 2, and 6. And I like to say, I don't farm minions, I farm champions. Again, this is BloodShiv for Team GGSL. Have a good night.